In this episode of Catholic Empire, Luis and I talk about President Trump, Francisco Franco, and the immigration debate in the context of Our Lady of Guadalupe. We delve into the presuppositions, the principles of Marxism, leftism, and we try to create a framework where we can piously have a devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe and through Our Lady address the most pressing and difficult and divisive and emotional issues of our time.
Franco had a coalition between the phalanx and people who even sometimes had sympathy to different regimes. They had the Carlists, which, by the way, on a side note, the Carlists were a key part of Franco's victory. They put a lot of the bodies in blood, sacrifice, and honestly, they kind of got the shaft. So in the overall scheme, so the Carlists were the noble warriors that got overlooked at the end when once Franco got into power. A lot of the Carlists came from the Basque country, not in Spain. Historically, as you know, and we've seen in our history of Spain, the northern part of Spain tends to be like the very warring Spain, right? This is where the Pelayo story was birthed in Asturias and all that area. So anyway, so a coalition, just like Trump, right? You had some sort of different political currents into the modern standards, libertarians, people who were obviously conservative, socially speaking. You have people like even Joe Rogan, who were usually and are still very left leaning in their morals, to put it. And we use in terms that we culturally use nowadays to describe, morals and different cultures. I know that liberalism is a system that we live in, but right now when we mention liberals or left leanings or progressive, it's usually people going to be on one side of the spectrum in our current culture. So anyway, he got a coalition that enabled him. Hispanics, big time actually. There are two main demographics that got Trump into power: white males and male Hispanics. Those are the two. Women, Hispanic women, Hispanic or Asian women, any kind of demographic, white women, or any other minority essentially voted for Harris more than that. So the two standing columns that Trump got were Hispanic males and white males, just like Franco had the phalanx and the Carlists in that sense. So there are similarities in that regard. Values are different because Trump, obviously, his spiritual walk is unknown to this day. He makes statements as, I don't know if I'm going to say, like things like that he's still kind of tiptoeing the line. His heritage is more Presbyterian in the Protestant side, clearly, whereas Franco was openly Catholic. That's one of those things. They both are strong men in some regards. Obviously, Franco in a broader sense than Trump, but they both led that. Now, once they're in power, they both kind of run the show. They're clearly the central figure of power in their country and the way they want to run things. Franco was a self-sufficient, in an economic vision, a very self-sufficient type of economy, which later in the late 50s, the famous Spanish so-called miracle happened, which is the liberation of the economy of Spain. And essentially, they adopted liberal economic principles to the Spanish economy and catapulted them in the second fastest growing economy after Japan during that decade. That was incredible. But anyway, Trump is trying to apply a little bit of the same principles economically, not the same, but very similar path. Is obviously yielding different results that it did for Franco. And the relationship between Franco and the church was very cordial for the most part, at least a big part of his ruleship. Franco was interested in continuation. He actually declared himself to be a regent, meaning he type of a vicar, let me put it that way, somebody who was stewarding the Spanish monarchy until his successor, King Philip, will take over later down the road. Whereas Trump sort of flirts with the idea, we know he's more rhetoric than anything else about a third term or, staying there in power for life and all those kind of things. That's in the overall very superficial analysis of both figures.
Okay. And both of them notably are hated by the Marxists.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Trump has been pilloried and targeted with all sorts of different calumnies, as well as just unearthing any of his past, which is murky, and he does have some murky past, obviously. But and Franco, and what happened with Franco recently with the Marxists.
Hey there, thanks for watching. If you want to see the full video, you're going to have to go to pelicanplus.com and sign up for our groundbreaking, truly Catholic platform. You can find your favorite podcasts. You can find your favorite prayers. You can find your favorite authors and even your favorite books. Visit pelicanplus.com and find out more.